Reuters has a poll that shows that Harris has neutralized Donald Trump's edge on the economy among Hispanic voters. Look, we got now really 2 solid months, 63 days, 2 solid months moving forward. We're going to see interest rates are probably going to be cut in the next couple of weeks. We're already seeing mortgage rates going down. Gas is about 50 cents cheaper than it was a year ago in terms of Labor Day. I don't know where the economy is heading 6 months out or 4 months out or 5 months out. There's a lot of different mixed signals. But at least at the moment, I think that there's 2 things that are happening. One is that people are feeling a little bit more optimistic about the economy. We still have a massive housing shortage. But I think they're really basically just saying, in general, they think that Biden is competent to wrap up the presidency, but to wrap it up. And they think that Harris is just generally more competent than Biden at this point. And
they like her better, and they like her policy proposals better based on what we're seeing from polling. I mean, when's the last time in your lifetime you've seen a Democratic nominee within the margin of error generally on the economy? That was poll numbers last week of the Republican candidate. Yep. I mean, Republicans always win on the economy my entire lifetime.
This is registered voters overall favor Trump's approach to the economy over Harris's by 45 to 36% in this poll.
Right.
Hispanic registered voters viewed them equally, each at 39%. This is also going to, this is why you're starting to see Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia are all in play in a way that they weren't for Joe Biden. We're seeing a turn, and here is this I guess was from Friday. Yep. This is a YouGov poll showing the swing states. Sun Belt now in play.
I mean, she added a swing state, which is North Carolina.
Yes.
Like, there were 6 swing states under Biden, and now there's 7.
And let's be clear, in North Carolina, I mean, there's a certain baseline that Harris is raising all of her numbers in these Sun Belt states. But North Carolina, the edge, if she were to take North Carolina, which again, long shot. But what's the name of that governor?
I don't think it's a long shot. I think, well,
it's a long shot in terms of like
Mark Robinson.
Mark Robinson is pulling that ticket down.
Yeah.
And this is very much like we may be seeing sort of a similar dynamic in Pennsylvania with, that.
It's definitely a similar dynamic in Nevada with abortion being on the ballot. Jackie Rosen's also leading by double digits, and in Arizona, where
I'm saying like in Pennsylvania in 2022,
right?
Where
the Mastriano
running
effect
for governor, just depressed enthusiasm on the Republican side. And this may be happening in North Carolina too, because the Republican Party has to support their nominee, and they begin to look bad in conjunction with that. Trump is out there saying, this is the guy to vote for, and Robinson, I think, got through that primary because of Trump's support. And so it begins to reflect poorly on him.
He has like 1 million anti-Semitic QAnon Facebook posts, Mark Robinson, just if people want to do a quick Google search on this.
And apparently in the Republican Party, the maximum is just 100,000.
Right. He exceeded the total.
Exactly. Here are the swing states according to YouGov right now. In all swing states, Harris is +2. That is sort of a meaningless term. But in Arizona, it's at 48%, statistically tied. Again, these are all within the margin of error, except for Georgia, she's up +2. Michigan, she's up +3. Nevada up +4. Maybe that's slightly outside the margin of error. I can't.
She was up a lot more in Michigan. I'll just note that.
Yep.
And Republicans are running ads in Michigan as a part of a
we'll do
rat
that in a
F. We'll
second.
get to that, but saying how pro-Israel she is.
North Carolina +2. Pennsylvania +4. And in Wisconsin +8, which puts her, outside the margin of error there. Now,
She just needs Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, and then that gets her to 270. So now there's
Wisconsin,
multiple paths.
Pennsylvania, yes.
Yep.
There's either the Rust Belt sort of strategy or the Sun Belt strategy. They're not mutually exclusive, but it would be rare to pull off both. But they're basically now both campaigns are basically just laser focused on those 7 states: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And that's, they're going to spend 90% of their time there over the next 60 days. There was a story in the Boston Globe where one of the well-placed volunteers on the Trump campaign in New Hampshire said, it's over in New Hampshire. He's going to lose here worse than he did in 2016 and 2020. And then they fired that guy.
Can't have those bad vibes.
Yeah, that's not, that's bad juju. Meanwhile, RFK Jr. is trying desperately. You remember I guess when he decided to drop out, this happened last week too, didn't it? When he decided to drop out and support Donald Trump, in really what is one of the more grotesque sort of like transactional things I've ever seen. Having been friendly with Bobby and friends with Bobby to some extent, I mean, I'm not, we didn't hang out together, but we did a radio show together from a distance. This is one of the most transactional things I've ever seen him do and could imagine him doing, frankly.
Trump?
No.
Engaged in the transaction with another
Well, I'm
guy?
talking about Kennedy.
I know.
The idea that he had was, speaking of him, am going to stay on the ballot in blue and red states in an attempt to build some type of party or something, get 5%. I don't. Maybe it sounds to me like a way of like basically saying to his vice presidential candidate, who he took all this cash from, like, we're going to do this, and your money will not have been spent in vain.
She wants to run them to field a candidate for governor in California. She's been saying.
Yeah, we'll
Yep.
still be able to grift those people.
Exactly, and but he is stuck on the ballot in, I think it's 3 states now. Wisconsin and maybe Michigan and North Carolina. But he really wants to get off in North Carolina because he thinks that's where he's drawing the most from Donald Trump.
Yep.
And they are very concerned, I think, in the Trump campaign that they're going to lose North Carolina. Kennedy is not doing this. He's not freelancing this.
No.
They're telling him this was all part of the negotiations. You've got to get off the ballot in these places. This was not his determination. You want a job, and they're just going to basically put him on the head of a commission to basically say that I mean, they'll put him on the transition team, but he's going to be so iced out. It's going to be amazing. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I also like the one thing. Kennedy is very smart in some ways, but this is not somebody you want to put in charge of organizing things. He's going to have ideas, and then when people carry it out, it's all just going to get iced out. He's going to get all those ideas are going to be sidelined. The one thing he'll maybe get his commission where he can look at, and drive like anti-vax organization numbers.
Not good for the weird allegations, I'll say.
No. But they are trying to get their name off of the North Carolina ballot. These states have statutes We saw this on the flip side when you couldn't get onto the ballot if you were nominated after a certain date in some of these states, like Ohio, for instance. You can't get off the ballot because they've already started to send out absentee ballots. So I don't think he's going to get out off the ballot in North Carolina. And it's going to be ironic that if he ends up helping Harris in North Carolina.
It'd be delicious, I think is what you meant to say.
Yes.
It would be amazing. Although, Bobby can take secondary credit because, as we mentioned before, the big driver would definitely be Mark Robinson.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's Trump's fault because Trump endorsed that guy. So chicken's coming home to roost.
Indeed. Kennedy tried to get back onto the ballot in New York. He cannot, which is, his father was senator from New York State. So a big missed opportunity for his whatever 5% stuff. But of course, Trump is now going around and campaigning with Tulsi Gabbard. So he got Jimmy Dore's vote. But
Perfect.
He's to the left of all you guys now.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.